Making sure the mic's good. I'll be giving you your astro download today. We're in the Moon in Taurus. All right. Thank you for those early thumbs up. Astro Kid, I see you. Astro Wish, what's up? Celebrate yourself while Venus is in Leo, but this is more about the nodes going over the moon. Or the moon, I want to say more so going over the nodes. The Moon in Taurus is right now currently going over the node. What does this mean? Security, stability, these things are major themes coming up today. Making sure you actually have the ability to take time and be comfortable in your own home, comfortable with the new foundation of who you are. Excuse me. I say new foundation because the South Node is in Scorpio. The Scorpio South Node is really bringing up once again, which is happening from back January of this year. So you got to go back 8 months, 7 months until January this year to how today it is impacting you. When I say it, what I mean is your desires. How has your desires, what you crave to invest as for energy in other people while still being the most pure version of yourself? Thank you for the thumbs up. I do see you. What do you crave from other people while still understanding what you crave from yourself and getting beyond the masculine approach of balancing the two of those two things and understanding the importance of the feminine, which is being willing to destroy, all right, either one or the two things, or even potentially both if they're holding you back. Now, when I say destroy, here's what's ironic. I had to come to this book, death card, off the rip. All right, you see death everywhere. This is the Kabbalah system. You see the symbol of Scorpio right there at the top corner. All right, take what this shows and resonates with you. You see the snake down here by my pinky. You see the scorpion in the middle. And as I see this, it says the child of the great transformers. So I pulled this deck card while I was going through one of my ego deaths today. One of my ego deaths today. And I can't even say my heart because it's my opposite right side is tweaking as I say that right now. What's going on, man? Love, emotional understanding, softness. Yeah, this is a lot of what's happening for me today. This death card, this transformation, I pulled it actually first with my angel deck. It's flying at the screen. It wants to show itself. And this is Mumia. All right, this is the God. It says God, the end of the universe. And it really speaks about endings and rebirth, right? It speaks about how it influences your health and longevity. So the longevity and the health is kind of, again, like I said, getting beyond that balance of the Libra, getting beyond the Libra balance, which is the first time that, let me turn this, I still got music playing through here. Libra, Moon, going across Gemini, Mars and Gemini, which is a little bit about how this transit, I'm going to bring it back, is coming back. This Mars and Gemini is coming back. The first time is when the Moon goes into Libra. Now, we're getting the feminine glimpse of that. Why? Because the Moon right now is in Taurus, so we got to apply Venus. This is the feminine energy of Taurus and how it squares, all right, and causes tension with Venus and Leo. The Leo-Venus right now is causing tension with the Moon and is giving us a glimpse about the feminine approach to destroying old habits, old hedonistic pleasures, old ways of dealing with relationships, old ways of looking at what used to make you feel safe and stable. And Uranus and Taurus is forcing us to go through this rapid ascension, development, understanding, especially the understanding of our sensitivities. And I feel like this is one of the key words right now, is sensitivity. And so me as a life path 11, like the sensitivities that I have been rising to the surface, especially as a Scorpio rising. All right, understand, Scorpio risings, you are here. I really feel like Scorpio rising, Taurus rising are one of the two main people of the show. So much that I'm gonna go ahead and add that in here because I feel like they need to be a part of this. I am a Scorpio rising, so Scorpio risings and Taurus risings, you're either going through a first house or a seventh house, one or the other. All right, Scorpio rising, I gotta get both of them, and Taurus rising, because I've been seeing this consistent theme back and forth with a few people. Let me just get rid of that. that. All right, save. All right, so the reason why this is important is Scorpio, you know death. This is the first card that I pulled. You know death. All right, I pulled it and I get it from two. I got it from here and I got it from the Kabbalah. You do know death. All right, this is definitely where this major transformation is going down and happening for you. It is the Angel Tarot deck. What's up, Shireen? How you doing? And this is the other deck. I have been literally going through my death today. Now here's what's interesting, because I've had ego deaths and it feels similar to an ego death, but in some ways it's not as intense. Now, this is what I personally feel is happening for people who have allowed themselves to embrace what Venus in Cancer was about, which was giving us a tremendous amount of emotional healing and understandings for ourselves. How do I feel? Now, with this Taurus energy in the sky is, how do I feel and how do I value my own self-worth, my own self-esteem? How do I esteem myself? Okay, how do I protect myself by knowing myself? How do I protect myself by being slow and understanding and empathetic and even sensitive with myself? 7-7 on screen, bringing in the objective wisdom, okay, the objective wisdom from that Aquarius energy and how Aquarius is going in complete opposition to Leo energy in the sun, all right? It went Leo Mercury prior, so our mind was already in Leo and Mercury getting caught up with the energy of Saturn in Aquarius. So mentally, we've been getting able to process, well, who is this unique version of myself? How do I like to play? How do I like to date? How do I like to sex? How do I like to sex? How do I like to sex? I have to bring this up a lot because it's one of the first things in my mind when I woke this morning, other than a dream. I had a dream this morning. I have a dream almost every night, okay? To the point where, like, at one point in my life, I got sick of them. And now I'm coming back, all right, to understanding the importance of my dreams. It's like, this is my biggest blessing, right? I have Scorpio 12th house and Pluto. I'm Scorpio rising. 3 different Pisces planets in my progressed chart this year. My dreams are tremendously important to better understand what these spiritual and psychological transformations look like. The next level of awakening is here. Uranus is like the great awakener, all right? It wakes up people in a very unconventional and even secretive way. I don't want to just say secretive, but because I put Taurus in there, Taurus is secret about its sensitivities. It's secretive about its emotions. It's secretive about how it goes through its personal feminine process, all right? It's very foundational, which Taurus placements are usually just introverted, meaning they gain energy from themselves. Now, this is where the second house of self-worth is in. Mars is still in Taurus, and we're getting Mars closer to 29 degrees, closer to going critical mass, closest to blowing up. Well, Mars goes 29. Mars likes being there. Mars is a fire type energy with Aries as the home planet, and 29th degree is karmic, as well as fiery, all right, with the energy of the sun, because Leo is coming in at the 29th degree. So when you add that drama of Leo, that drama, I said this in another video, is only comes and only rises because you are more willing to be your most authentic and creative self. And the closer you get to being in that creative body, being in that creative dress, being in that creative wherever Leo sits for you, you have to understand. For me, one of these things we're teaching, it's the way that I travel. I travel big. All right, doesn't mean that I travel expensive. All right, I'm not saying that at all. It doesn't mean I travel expensive, but I do travel big. I do travel luxurious, do travel comfortably. And this is showing me with the South Node in Scorpio what has risen. Because 5 years ago when I first started traveling, you know, I had 4 bags that I was carrying on my shoulders like a real life slave. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I walked through the airport the first couple of times with 2 duffel bags, you know, a backpack, a duffel bag, and 2 more carry-on bags. But now it's like I travel through the airport on the little 4-wheelie 5 years later, like a king. And I don't want to stress. I don't want to carry bags on me. I want to be very, want to be treated like royalty and valuing the royalty within myself. And this is how my Jupiter in Leo, my natal planet, has been reminding me through dreams and other things of how I have just been royalty off with your head in past lives. And how am I allowing that stuff to rise to really learn my lessons about why I could have been more generous, how I could have been more magnanimous in the ways that I treated the people who were actually there to support me and show me attention by giving me their energy somehow, some way, by allowing me to share my passion to create my passion for art, my passion for museums, my passion for philosophy. So this is just me as a personal, right? But you have to start applying this to yourself, because we're in Leo season and it's trining, all right? It's making very positive aspects with Jupiter and Aries. So if you go back to April and May, right now, I want to say more like May, you're having things recycle, rewind. They're now coming back and showing you how can you look at what was once a more painful transition and the expansion, because Jupiter expands, and the expansion of yourself. How can you look at the expansion of yourself in a more optimistic and positive light? How can you address these things with a more feminine touch? So before, there was a lot more masculine energy in the sky back in March, April. There's a lot of Mars in Aries, Venus in Aries, Aries Sun in April, right? So it's a lot of Aries, a lot of masculine, primitive, go get it type energy. I'll think about it later. I have time to review and reflect later. Well, this reflection is here now. Why? Thank you for that thumbs up. I see you. This reflection is here right now. But why? Because Mercury is coming up in retrograde in Libra in a couple weeks. All right, it's coming up, not here yet. And it'll go back to 24 degrees in Virgo. I'll explain what that means later, but that's a whole nother video. You have Uranus in retrograde. Oh, wow. So these massive and rapid uploads into our physical body, and in what ways we embrace our more sensitive selves, our more creative and artistic selves, especially through things like writing, because now we have Mars in Gemini coming up in like 2 to 3 days. And Mars in Gemini is really requiring for the Mars in Taurus, for the Venus when it was in Taurus, which is already out, all those planets in Taurus, it's really requiring for us to look at, well, what did we structure? So when in a couple of days when Mars goes into Gemini, I really want you to start to consider what did you actually write down? What did you actually start building as a part of your foundation before you get into Mars and Gemini energy? Because Mars and Gemini is very childish. It's very chaotic. It takes a tremendous amount of action, and Mars is just rewarding those actions because Mars just wants to act. And Gemini is just like a little kid, like curious in the freaking candy store, like how many different candies can I touch? All right, so it's a very creative energy, but it needs a daddy, honestly. It needs a mom. It needs both a dad and a mom, the feminine and the masculine. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it literally needs both of its parents. So the parents can say, here's the 9 different creative endeavors that you've already discovered you want to start to do. But now here's the structure. Here, we need mom-dad energy. And a lot of this healing that we've been having to go through, especially now with Mercury in Virgo, which is a very healing, motherly type energy. It's a lot represented by like either Demeter or Persephone, kind of both, the mother or the daughter. And more so the relationship between the two, of how does the mother present healing to the daughter, how's the daughter reverse and actually serve and heal the mother, and whatever they kind of need, just through how do they live together in a day-to-day life. And it's the story of like Demeter and Persephone and the relationship that they have between the two. The better understand how a mom and a daughter gets together in a right way, rather than in a meshed relationship, a meshed being codependent, lacking boundaries. All right, this is a lot of what this Taurus energy and this moon is reviving within us, and having to step more towards a harmonious base before we get deeper into the Virgo season. You know what I'm saying? Because the first earth is what? Taurus. The second earth is what? Virgo. Okay, the divine mother. All right, the Virgin. And then the last is Capricorn. And that's why Pluto in Capricorn is allowing us to really look at these things and permanently transform. So this is why I got the Death card, all right, on both. I mean, and also saying I got it in my Kabbalah system here. Now, this is Scorpio energy, all right? You do see the scorpion, you do see skulls, you see the snakes. So the snakes are kind of representing, again, I mean, it's not biting its tail, but, and yet, however, it does get there. It gets to the point where it ends the cycle. So this is about cycles finally coming to a close. What are your psychological patterns that have kept you away from harmony? There's something that's kept you from feeling stable and feeling safe, whether in relationships itself or wherever Taurus is, that's in your chart. So I have to say relationships. Why? Because I am a Scorpio rising. So Uranus is already impacting my first house, and Scorpio is getting what? My shadow aspects, my 7th house. And the interactions I had in one-on-one in relationships, but in business as well as romantic. It's bringing both of these things up, including my friendships. The only difference is there's not much to really discover for me when it comes to friendships, and it's part of what I have to literally, like, I've dropped a couple of different tears today on some real. Maybe it's actually part of why the glasses are just going down. Another part of it is I really just feel like being private. It's kind of like a little bit of both. I'm going through a tremendous feminine, destructive moment. It is the simplicity of it. It's like my emotions are left, they're right, they're up, they're down. I'm hitting the up, up, down, circle, circle, B cheat code move. If anybody knows about like Sega Genesis, PlayStation, when you used to do the combos, right? It's like it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit all everywhere, and I'm embracing what the creativity of feminine energy can allow, which is requiring me to do what? Go through this death. This card says birth, rebirth, and endings, as well as influences your health and your longevity. So the health is obviously Mercury in Virgo. With us in a couple more days, I don't know, maybe like a week max to a week and a half, Virgo season, the sun will go into Virgo. You know what I'm saying? So when the sun gets there, we're going to start to very quickly reflect on bringing conscious awareness to what our mind has already been ahead of us with. All right, we have already received the cosmic download, the divine feminine, divine type feminine energy to come from Uranus and Taurus when we went conjunct. Now it will be a rewind and a reminder of it because Uranus is in retrograde. Understand that. I think that no one has talked about this much, and myself included. It's like Uranus is in retrograde. So we already have received the cosmic downloads, but it was just too much for us to take in such a large chunk. We already received divine feminine guidance, but it's been too much for us to take in a large chunk. So Uranus is in retrograde. Who else is in retrograde? Pluto is in retrograde. All right. Who else is in retrograde? Very soon, Mercury in Libra will be in retrograde at 8 degrees of Libra. Your relationships and how you used to go about them are completely transformed. It will never be the same. When you put Capricorn there, the complete transformation of how you want to show up publicly, even in that transformation and psychological evolution, which is the death card of the relationship. This is the child of the great transformers. All right. So what we got next is kind of coming in with the Pentacles. All right. We got the Ace of Pentacles, which really rose up next. So I have this in the Angel right here, and I have this in the Tarot. I'm going to show you both. This is the Ace of Pentacles. This is the brand new beginning to our material resources. You feel what I'm saying? This is us manifesting right now. Brand new physical resources. Looking at how can we be individuals, which is Taurus energy. All right. And it's the starting point of self-development. I want to show you a little bit longer. It's the starting point of self-development, potential growth, new opportunity, solitary, isolation, nurturing new idea, experiencing before going public, and focusing on it. Okay. This is the concentration energy and the clarity of purpose. So when you get this is kind of like ace energy in general. When I add it to the earth, it's literally Lord of the root of the powers of the earth. So you see it, he's holding the root down at the bottom on his hand. Lord of the root, okay, of the powers of earth. This is Taurus. Taurus is foundational agricultural type energy, which is why in my angel deck, wow, what did I just say? This is freaking beast mode. Catiel, one of the angels, all right, this is a seraphim, by the way, one of the 6 winged angels, very powerful angel. Catiel is a seraphim, all right, directly under Metatron, who owns the seraphims, if you will. Rules over agriculture, agricultural production, okay? So agriculture is Taurus. Once again, the Taurus moon. The moon in Taurus right now is here. Agriculture is Taurus. Now, the harvest is Virgo. So the fact that Mercury is in Virgo, the sun will soon be in Virgo, it will continuously over the next couple of months help us with this earth energy on this new beginning. So things that in the physical world we've been holding on to are being forced to be released. We are going to have a loss in pleasure. I believe that I recently got the 5 of Wands. I believe it was Wands, which was one of the things, speaking about a loss in pleasure. Could have been a 5 of Pentacles in reverse. I think it was 5 of Pentacles potentially in reverse or upright. I don't know. But it was one of those two, and it was about losing pleasure. Certain pleasures, thank you for that thumbs up, I appreciate you. Certain pleasures will be lost right now, especially physical pleasures, hedonistic pleasures, even sex right now. Sex might be put on pause, on some real talk. Like, I've been trying to tell people this for like a month and a half, and I realized that nobody has ever commented when I talked about sex or sexuality. And it's almost kind of pissing me off a little bit because obviously there's something there. And this is a part of my South Node in Scorpio coming up, right? My past, in a sense, coming up about where did I need to focus on properly transmuting my sexual energy, especially not wasting it in random areas. And I feel like for me, this is more like mid-college after that first big-ass heartbreak, right? I was just an absolute and complete savage. It really was completely out of my DNA. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Because I do have, I think, a destiny number 5. I do have a birthday number 5. And so it's like it does create, especially in the earlier stages of my life, a tremendous amount of just like reckless, I don't give a sex. Like literally just looking at people like, oh, you're Brazilian? Never had a Brazilian. And just going for the Brazilian. Oh, you're Mexican? Oh, you're German? Oh, you're from Indonesia? Oh, you're from Laos? Wherever the hell it is. And it was like a lot of like raw, just like primitive, not thinking forward, not conscious levels of sex, not using sexual energy for the divinity of the Scorpio is sex, right? So I feel like this is a part of the death that we're going through. It's mostly about the reflection of how have you used to look at sex and allowing yourself to go through the ending, go through the rebirth and realize this is not how I look at sex now. Now, why is this important? Because Venus is in Leo. Look, listen up, dummies. I'm not talking to you when I say that. I'm not saying to you directly, but like, listen up, dummies. Like, I feel like that. Like, I cannot refuse once again to respect the power of sex as a spiritual practice. Sex is a spiritual practice. It is probably the most dominant spiritual practice. It's one of the spiritual practices that we've basically ignored and undereducated our entire population and society on the most because it is a very powerful energy. It has the ability to manifest and create, which is this Ace of Pentacles that I got second right before I got what? The Justice card. And so this is kind of like, if anything, this is the balancing, all right? You see the yin yang and the balancing here in the Kabbalah Hermetic deck. This is the yin yang and the balance, okay? It could obviously mean legal matters being considered and actually balanced out and understand what do you have to give in order to take. It definitely could be wrongs being righted, karma coming up, all right? Balancing, or at least seeking balance, seeking justice, seeking moderation, creating harmony in relationships, all right? The consequences of your actions are basically at hand. So if I get this is kind of really coming closer to the complete message, and I'm going to help you understand why and how Mars in Gemini matters, because so far in the order, right, I did get the Death card, followed by the Ace of Pentacles, followed and completed by the Justice. So justice will be served, okay? You might have had to already pay your karma, like for, and when did you treat relationships or people in your relationships negatively? And that doesn't have to be you being a narcissist. That doesn't have to be you overpowering them with your voice. That could be as simple as you not allowing a certain emotional fairness in the relationship. Especially, I feel like I'm talking to women more right now specifically because it feels like emotional and psychological manipulation. So it's like this for women. On one end, it could be like you attracted a narcissist or a psychologically manipulating person because what? Because you were emotionally manipulating others. And the timeline might have been completely out of balance. It might not have been where you're doing it in that relationship and you're getting it back in that relationship. It could have been you did this 3 years ago and you didn't yet pay your karma. So in this relationship now, we have a good man or a good guy. You now have a narcissist. You now have, a woman beater. You now have somebody who is manipulating you, whether physically or otherwise, and that's not okay. I'm not trying to say this is okay by any means, but what I'm getting is like on the full collective, if I bring it back to myself, because there's no one higher or greater than, if I bring this back to myself, this is definitely like emotional manipulation. For me, I feel like it's primarily emotional manipulation in past relationships because a lot of it was coming very unconscious. This is me with Mars and Cancer. My whole actions in Cancer are selfish. All right, Mars in Cancer is a very big nurturer, but it may literally nurture in order to gain something back. I may nurture something in order to gain a certain security emotionally back for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because mine is also 8th house. I may use sex into manipulate the emotions of sex in order for me to find a way to feel more safe within myself. So a lot of this is definitely the death, all right, of this particular transformation. And what it's doing is it's allowing me to go ahead and restart all of the material things. I'm recognizing and understanding, this is going back a little bit to the Sagittarius full moon, mine's being in the 2nd house, where I had clientele that basically closed out, whether it was group, one-on-one, or whatever. And it was like, look, you have better and more coming. But Scorpio energy and the fact that the moon is in Taurus, this download is saying that in order for us to be aware and present with Mars and Gemini, we must understand and embrace how Gemini is a little bit chaotic in the mind. What you think about will be what you manifest right now. Because again, this is important because we just went through a death. I'm going to show it from here. This is the Seraphim Cathiel. It's the death card. We just went through a death, right? And then now, oh, I'm sorry. We just went through a death. This is the death card. And it's kind of like time is at play, which is bringing me to Saturn, right? So Saturn in Aquarius is doing what? It's going in direct opposition with who? Leo. Ooh. So we're having to look at these non-committal relations. Or on the right, okay, you're committing. On the left, she's not. And this is important to understand because it's like we energetically cannot engage in sexual interactions, sexual endeavors, where we're asking for one thing, but our actions are showing something different. You know what I'm saying? We can't sit there and not commit ourselves and then be wondering why we don't have a committal relationship. Taurus doesn't play shit like this. It's like, get your values in check. Be very honorable in the ways that you address these friendships and these relationships, and make it more of a friendship. If you know that you don't want a serious partner, this is really important right now to be serious up front, because Leo is that non-committal energy and it's very flirty. Mars and Gemini will take very flirty actions. This is looking like you going ahead out of pure boredom or even curiosity and getting on Hinge, getting on Twitter, getting on what are these things called? Tinder, and there's another one, Bumblebee. This is getting on these apps right now and basically trying to avoid this death. Avoid this death and avoid this restart of the things that you actually have, because Taurus is I have, which is a part of your self-worth. And understand that if you do this, there's nothing wrong with that. What I am saying is if you want to commit a relationship, but you're going on there on these apps, these dating apps with a non-committal attitude, Mars and Gemini is very highly favoring this energy. So you can very much get played with trickster energy. But at the end of the day, it's the twins. So the tricks is on you. When you try to go in there thinking, I'm going to only look for this, but then you get something different because you're doing that different thing. It's just a reflection. Your ideas, your thoughts. If you have a thought right now of, you know what, I'm just going to go in here and I'm just looking for a quick little nut, all right? You're going to basically manifest that quick little nut. But the trickster energy is that woman may now look like a very potential candidate. She may look like somebody who's really trying to stay in your life, 1111. But in reality, it's like when you get deeper feelings, now she doesn't have them. But it's like, well, why? Because you really went in there with the thought and you manifested the fact that this is going to be somebody that you were just going to have a little fun with. And that doesn't have to even be sex. But you could have been wasting your energy, wasting your resources, which is why I feel like I got the 5 of Wands in reverse, or the 5 of Pentacles, upright, which was about loss and pleasure. Part of loss and pleasure is like, it's not very pleasurable when you go out and you start wasting a lot of energy, your resources, and spending money on somebody you're dating, and there's really no return on the investment. That's not fun. That's a loss in pleasure. Eventually you're gonna be like, oh man, this kind of sucks. And it doesn't have to happen you giving up money. It could have been simply energy. Or even worse, the death is happening where you're having to go through what is the psychological transformation that has been actually happened already. The South Node Scorpio brought up these old narratives, brought up these old ways, brought up these old habits, brought up these old designs about how you used to, okay, approach money, approach buying things, approach the investing in the things that you actually appreciate. And you're going through a death process. So we must be mindful right now about where do we potentially play victim, and look back at moments where you probably just need to cry. You probably just need to be sensitive. You probably just need to experience, what that divine feminine, okay, transformation looks like, which is a lot about being receptive of your own energy, being receptive of what self-love looks like, of what loving your body looks like, which will start to allow this death process. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll start to allow this death process. It'll start to allow you to say, look, this is now fertile ground, a foundational place where I can start to build on top of Taurus. And Taurus is really asking for us to have that stable foundation, asking for us to build. You know what I'm saying? So look at Mars and Gemini. The key thing with this is to make sure that we're mindful of just not doing any and everything all out of control without any structure, but to use Virgo energy, use Mercury in Virgo to help understand that there's going to be some illusions coming up. All right, when Mercury in Virgo goes in 24 degrees, it is allowing us to organize what is chaotic about how we take care of our body and all the things I just spoke of, including our food. So it's like watching for eating foods that negatively impact your body, and then that reverse hitting you in the mental space where now you want to do what? You want to basically kill yourself. When I say kill yourself, I'm talking metaphysically, I'm talking spiritually, kill yourself. And then that will allow you, especially with the scorpionic placements of your chart, that's the area you're going to need to watch for, or Piscean plates, and wherever Pisces is in your chart as well, these are the areas you're going to want to accelerate the death, accelerate the ego death, accelerate the sexual death, rebirth. All right, this is the death card, because you're going to basically recognize this is what I need to do. I need to heal these wounds. I need to forgive myself. I need to go through the grieving process for the things that I have allowed, the things that I manifested, even though I wasn't even conscious when I did it. And when we go through this process, there's a lot of forgiveness that's involved and required, so that we can actually grieve and recognize that, you know what, this is how I used to play. This is how I used to have fun. This is how I used to focus on escapist behaviors or escapist habits. But now this is coming to an end. This has come to an end. And I am ready for the rebirth. And I am ready for basically justice, all right? Divine justice, divine blessings. And to drive away this evil energy, honestly, to drive away these spirits, whether if it was through alcohol that was possessing you, that was inviting you, basically, that you allowed to invite you into the spirit of that alcohol. If it's vodka, it's party. If it's tequila, it's sex and jump. If it's whiskey, it's being sad and feel depressed. And if it's rum, then it's like do salsa, one of the drinks of Colombia. So you feel what I'm saying? Like as a form of relief, of cathartic release, releasing deep, heavy emotion that's been buried. And this is a lot of that Scorpio energy. It's like Mars and Gemini will help us in the positive, in my opinion, to focus on the variety of ways to go ahead and use the Gemini curiosity, use the Gemini's understanding of logical, dark and light themes, feminine and themes, twin themes, all right, left and right, all right, left brain, right brain, right, creative mind, logical mind, dark and light, white, black, right? It's looking at these in a very curious way, looking at how can we transform in a way that will restart this new manifestation, this brand new earthly beginning, in a way that before we get into grand trine energy, grand earth trine energy, which is going to bring things from heaven down to earth, before we get there, this is a good time to use this Taurus moon, use this cosmic intelligence, accept and embrace it through the breath. Right now, I can promise you that this is the most important thing. All right, this is the most important thing right now. One, look at the breath and look to surrender to what you discover in the middle and the center of the breath, right? So when you're inhaling, first off, you should never make a noise when you're inhaling. I'm doing this for a teaching purpose. In between the breath, right here, before the exhale, is where you want to gain and suck the knowledge, the cosmic intelligence of Uranus and Taurus in your body. You're going to get it easiest from the breath or from yoga. Yoga right now, I have not been doing yoga. I did yoga one day, okay, yesterday. But I understood, oh crap, P, right now doing more yoga will really help you. And this is Virgo, this is me as an Aries going through a 6th house transit with Virgo energy. My mind is thinking about how to take care of my body, how to get rid of these old evil spirits, because let's be real, there's evil energy out there right now. I feel it. Somebody else probably out there feels it as well. Why I had to take a chill from saying certain things like that is so that we don't get overly involved and digest too much of this evil energy. Somebody's against me, you know, victim mentality, like, yeah, somebody's attacking me, I'm getting psychically attacked. It's very important to like overly not be mindful of how we like to use this to step into the victim role of like, okay, these spirits are stronger than you. In all sincerity, they don't have physical form, right? At the end of the day, it's like our actions, how we stay accountable to our mental health through physical activity as well as what we're eating, to be mindful of the chemicals that are helping these spirits, helping these evil entities to possess and take over our mind, our body. Likely not your soul. If your soul is taking over, then you need to come see me for a real life exorcism in real life. Okay, you need real life shaman work at that point. But understand that they have no hold over you. They have no bearings in the physical world. Now, at the same time, I will say that the physical world is mattering less and less and less as we go through this ascension and these transmissions. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to the 4 or 5 Ds. All right, and as that's happening, we're getting more and more downloads and healing from the 7th and the 9Ds, direction from the ninth densities, ninth dimensions. So it's like, okay, less and less it's starting to allow the physical and the metaphysical to collide. So I'm not gonna lie, it is happening more. And if this is very new to you, if this is very like unorthodox and you're not used to this, or you're very stuck in a logical mind, this could be very terrifying, all right? Especially with this Taurus energy. A lot of people that have Taurus placements right now, this is very terrifying for them because the physical world is what makes sense, right? The metaphysical world is their shadow, it's the part they rather just ignore or deny. Okay, every earth sign has an opposite of what? A water, and water is metaphysical. Water is the emotions, it's the sensitivity, it's the realm of dreams, it's the realm of spirit, all right? It's the realm of higher consciousness above the 7 chakras, going to the causal, the stellar, and the soul star chakras, right? It's way outside of the physical world. So on the other side of the water is always an earth. So earth has that ability, but they like to ingest and digest that spirituality in some physical, tangible way that makes sense on earth. So this looks like Reiki, all right? This looks like massages, all right? Getting massages right now because earth signs, y'all got the money to do it for sure. You know how to budget and get it involved in your plan and find a strategic and rational way to afford it if you could it prior. So physical manual labor really helps because Gemini, Mars and Gemini is what? It's the hands. Gemini, the hands. Mars taking action and asserting with the hands. So this is a good time to get massages right now. This is a good time to play music on the drums. It's a good time to definitely use the breath because Gemini is also like part of the lungs. So it's through the breath, it's how we communicate. If you can't breathe, you can't communicate, right? So it's like getting air and circulating through the lungs, getting air and circulating through the esophagus, bringing it in through the nose, through the esophagus, down, and get it into the gut where your intuition is lying, right? Which is why you must take care of Mercury in Virgo, the gut right now. So this is super important. Overall, if I talked more about Mars and Gemini, I feel like what I spoke prior was very important, mostly because the first justice that we're going to see coming up around what type of psychological or behind the scenes healing you've been doing on your own to better show up with other people. It's all about how well have you addressed and undressed your psychological mind and the patterns, the motivations behind why you did what you did in your sexual endeavors, why you did what you did in the ways you invested money in crypto, because 8th house of Scorpio is crypto, why you did what you did in the merging of intimacies and how you have become more intimate with food, with a person in a love relationship, have become more intimate with an investor, okay? What you've shown or kept private, all this stuff in the South Node Scorpio is starting to rise up out of the dirt. I've been seeing this honestly all year, but especially over the last month, there's been an increase, all right? Because of the fact that Uranus in Taurus, the North Node is in Taurus, starting back on the 1st, I don't have my phone. Yes, I do. I lied. Yeah, starting back at the 1st of the month up to the 5th of August, these are when things were really hitting hard. But the thing is, we can't really consciously understand what cosmic intelligence means as it gets upgraded into our physical body, especially not on day one. But what's happening now is we're closer to like day 17, right, of the month. It's now the 17th of August. So we're now like 16 days from that original cosmic download, and it's going to continue to come, right? And tomorrow, I believe, 29 degrees goes in Mars in Taurus, 29 degrees. This will be, if you, for those of you watching this tomorrow, thank you for taking your votes. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. By the way, I really do appreciate it. Definitely hit the thumbs up. 29 degrees in Mars will bring a very cutting type energy. Today, I was literally going through one of my physical deaths. My physical body has been dying in a way where I accelerated that death through eating foods that I know are not healthy, understanding that I can quickly recover because I eat healthy like more like 90% of the time. So like sometimes as a Scorpio rising, I understand this, especially with 12th house and Pluto, okay, Scorpio 12th house, I like to definitely, I'm not gonna lie, this is a part of a life path and living thing. We involve ourselves in addictive habits. We involve ourselves in addictive behaviors. We involve ourselves in escapism. And so I'm not going to tell everybody that you should or shouldn't do this next part, so definitely take this with a grain of salt. But I do know for myself, it's like I go through spiritual deaths way too frequently. I go through spiritual deaths. Whoever seen the Umbrella Academy, talk to me about the Umbrella Academy. Gotta live a little. Hell yeah, I feel you, Shireen. Who knows the Umbrella Academy? This looks like to me Klaus. All right. I was looking at Klaus. And I'm with that, I'm gonna say not live a little, Shireen, but just live a lot. In all sincerity, it's like, look, I came here as a very ancient soul, as a very old spirit who chose to serve humanity in some way, shape, or form. All right? I came here and I chose to do that. Now, as a part of that, it's like, there's this reality that I have to always come back to because I am a life path 11. I have that 2 energy, a very sensitive energy within me, right? And that sensitive energy can be very much overwhelmed with the world, very much overwhelmed with collective suffering, very much overwhelmed with what are the needs of my partner and how am I ignoring my own needs by serving the needs of my partner. Very overwhelmed with a lot of energy on a sensitive level. You feel me? And so as a part of that, I have to also remember that, like, I am a God. A lot of you listening on the other days, you understand that you're a God. All of us in the world out there are gods, okay? We all have God energy on some real talk. But some people embrace that and some people don't. And I have to recognize this is one of those energies where what's rising for me is that my desires do not deserve to be cooled down if somebody else can't handle my heat. And if somebody else can't handle how cold I am on a certain day as I go through my emotional deaths, all right, of the physical body and what just doesn't belong anymore, and somebody can't handle the cold that I got going on that day, that I'm not going to start to warm up just so that they can feel, feel stable within themselves. What has been really rising is that temperature. And we must understand that each of us collectively go through different seasons of how we are heated or cooled. Sometimes I'm just an ice cold motherfucker and I really just don't give 2 fucks about who's listening or who's talking. And other times I'm just overly hot, overly warm, where I'm just charitable, lovey, a hard person not to love. And that there's a little bit of all of that in the middle. And part of this is about what is rising from South Node Scorpio as we're getting closer to harmony. Part of harmony is being your authentic selves. We must rip the fucking mask off right now. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, part of that has to do with cursing. Like honestly, like my more natural self, especially as a Mercury in Aries, I am in Aries Moon, is like When somebody do me wrong, I rip their fucking throat out. Now, part of the feminine energy has been learning how to tone that back, do a lot of the healing that's necessary so that I don't get so triggered by instances and just be like off with their heads. Now that's a lot of the process for me, but part of the hot cold, okay, understanding that I just gave to a lot of us is to recognize that I have the right and the ability to transfer and shift back and forth between that through my journey. And so a lot of what's going on is recognize in private, what are you going through? What are you feeling? So that you can better show up with that energy on the public stage. This is happening for everybody in the grander scheme as Pluto gets ready to go into Aquarius. Pluto is we're already going through that transformation in Capricorn, public Capricorn, reputation Capricorn, public status, okay? How do you want to show up? Now, the difficulty with that is we have to definitely get involved and in tune with how do we want to show up publicly in private first. So that when we do that, the harder part is then to kind of rip away from that and push forward into a new season of ourselves. And this is a lot of what Jupiter in retrograde of Aries is bringing to us. We've expanded the self. We've expanded how we're boldly showing up. We've expanded how we deal with risk, fear, and aversion. And we're looking at where were we just acting like little fucking, Twinkies, all right? And where will we like to show up bigger, bolder, and more brave within ourselves, within our personal expression. Now, Leo trining all that energy in the sun, while it was also in Venus coming up, all that trining energy to Jupiter is saying, look, you know what? Nobody else got you, I got you. Nobody else supporting this bold, brave move, this how you stepping into this a whole new world. Nobody else is respecting how you stepping into a whole new world. Then I got you. And that's what Leo is doing. But it's all about cheerleading yourself right now. And it's all about making sure that you're not codependent on somebody else to avoid your death, to avoid your spiritual transformation, to avoid that awakening process, which requires the old you to die, for the old belief system just to be surrendered. Because Aries and Jupiter is a new belief system. So if you go back to March, April, I told you I have videos, Jupiter part 1, Jupiter part 2. Thank you for your thumbs up. I do appreciate you. I said if you go back, then you'll see what your rising sign was going through. So for me, it's simple because I'm first house Aries, right? That's a simple one. For my Scorpio, I forget. I don't know. I forget in the moment. I'm not going to go there. Ultimately, what this is about as I get closer into Mars and Gemini is we're now taking a more curious approach to how we deal with the light and the dark aspects of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? As I take a moment to check in with everybody in the chat, I thank y'all for the thumbs up. I thank y'all for the super chat support. So y'all all know these things go for me to make these Canva flyers. These things go for, at this latest, for me creating this next short film or artistic activism. This is really one of my biggest passions right now, like focusing on more artistic activism. Because a lot of what's been rising for South Node Scorpio is that I can't outrun the simple fact that I'm here to support Black people, indigenous people, people of color. It's coming up no matter what I want to do or say. And I happen to really go ahead and address that. It scares me sometimes the people that I'm going to lose. It scares me sometimes the people that I'm going to lose as I step closer into the more authentic version of myself. And the more authentic version of myself is like, I really support Black entrepreneurs. I really support people who are getting themselves out of the hood, out of the struggle. I really support indigenous cultures all around the world, whether that's somebody in Southeast Asia, or that's somebody down in Colombia who's still going through police brutality. I support those people. And, I got a big voice that is able to go ahead and show the support in a very actionable way through using my travels, using my experiences, using my deep dives into cultures all over the world, especially for the last 5 years, using that to start making these short films and bring light and awareness on things like Netflix, which a lot of people have, at a low level before I start getting deeper into my own personal production company. So it's like, this is a lot of what's been happening already for me in private. We got to deal with these private understandings so we can better show up in public. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is one of the things, like all the tears that I dropped today, and I dropped a whole lot of tears today, like on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. I was just crying, on, losing my mind. I was like, my first tequila pipe came at like 11:50 in the morning. I was like, you know what? Whatever. Let's just do this. Let's just get this done and over with. Let's just get it in. And then the tequila was gone. I'm like, let's do the beer. And it's like, the reminder for me was that I have a birthday number of 5, a personality number of 5. It reminded me because I have a destiny number of 5. This is party energy. All right, this is Leo energy. I got a 5th house stellium. Part of the mask is denying that I like to party. I love to party. I love to party, but sometimes I get so caught up in the duty, or at least the feeling that I have a duty that I have to do. I have to work a certain amount. I have to be so charitable. This is what my T-square looks like. My T-square between Aquarius and Leo, okay, is T-squaring with Aries. And my Aries is all 5th house on the regular. It's like, I love new adventures. And one of the pains that's been coming up, some of these tears, is how many people I lose along the way. Because traveling the world, being in different countries and cultures, speaking different languages, all right, it really creates so much separation from me and to the next person all the time. And I lose a tremendous amount of people. And like today, the tears for me were coming down where it's like, that makes me really sad. It's like, there's this feeling like, damn, I'm like always alone. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, there's always a certain sense of loneliness that comes with it, because like I outgrow people. And then when it's like trying to hold on to old friendships, which is so sad, because an old friendship could be somebody that's a day old. They could have vibed and resonated for the day, but they just refused to grow, and I did, and they don't matter anymore. And it's really just a raw, tough-ass energy. There's such a small amount of people that I grow with that actually maintain that rate of ascension. And it's terrible, but it's like, what only thing that makes it terrible is I pace. Whether you're ready or not, I'm going forward. And it does bring a lot. Today was one of the days where this had needed to rise. Part of myself, this part of South Node in Scorpio, this had to rise. I had to start looking at where did I used to hold on to relationships and why they didn't end because something was bad happening, or because somebody was cheating on me, or because somebody was, doing me dirty or doing me wrong, rather than I held on so much longer past what they were capable of that I started to hurt myself by basically not creating the next boundary and saying, you know what, we don't energetically match no more, and making those cuts, making those ties where it needed to be, where now it's like, what would happen if I stayed in it too long? They have to act stupid. In all sincerity, they gotta start cheating. They gotta start, destroying the relationship, because they can't maintain the same frequency that I'm holding on to at the same time. So we hurting each other. We hurting ourselves, if you will. And part of that South Node Scorpio was that rise as the moon is here, because it's like Moon in Taurus is like, well, it's a very harmonious moon. Hit the thumbs up, baby. Hit the thumbs up, baby. Hit the thumbs up. All right. Anybody that donates, I'm gonna pull a tarot, all right, a personal tarot for you. I do want to say that out loud. If you don't worry about it. Otherwise, I'm not pulling nothing today. It's just what it is. It's the energy. But if you do, anybody that does donate, I am pulling a tarot. If you want some extra clarity on the themes that I'm talking about today, I watched the Five Bloods Saturday. Yo, I'm watching the Five Bloods tonight. This is probably going to be my 4th time watching it. It came out like 2-3 years ago. So thank you, Tiffany, for watching the Five Bloods, checking in with that. I do appreciate it. I'm in a private group chat for the Abundant Reality, and one of the guys that just recently watched it, he was like, yo, he's like, it reminded me of Holes, the movie Holes. And he said Pernell played on the side of abundance. And that just made me so happy the way he worded it on some real talk. I was like, oh crap, like, nice. I was like, I like the movie Holes, first off. Second, it was the reminder of the abundance. All right, let me see what's going on. Me, I need to get laid. Also me, Mpox. What's Mpox? I don't know, but it made me cough. And other cooties. I'm too old to be entertaining. That's funny as hell. Seriously, I need to sort it out. What did I miss? I feel like I missed something cool back here. White magic, hold on to your energy and move it up your spine, true power. Yeah, the breath work. Bring Taurus in the 11th house. I can ready to be in Cancer. Boom, boom, boom. Mad love. All right, what we got? I got so hyped when you're seeing Kim. Like, hey, it's Pete. Yeah. What's going on? I'm watching it tonight. Check the Five Bloods for anybody that's brand new on here who's never seen it. It's still on Netflix. I do want to watch it again because it's been out there for like 2-3 years. And I was thinking to myself, it's like, it's not going to stay too much longer. But I want to watch it again because this, I realized very well that I'm not the guy to sit on the front with the white picket fence and say something like, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I'm not that guy. But what I am is the guy that might be in a movie where there's a scene where there's other people still doing this Black Lives Matter, where it's like my role is trying to find a way, or at least the whole production and the directing of the film is trying to create that whole thing where I would involve people who are passionate about such a thing and include them in the process. So I had to really, this is a part of what is rising for me. This is the next scary thing for me. I'm gonna be straight up, be real. Like, teaching, coaching, partying, dancing, shaking my ass, you know what I'm saying? Drinking somebody under the table, renting out a yacht, or somebody else renting out a yacht and I get invited, you know what I'm saying? Like, traveling the world, these aren't the things that really excite me. These are just a part of my standard life. This is just a part of what I do on a regular. It's just who I am. It doesn't scare me. That's my point. And I've been having to understand and recognize, like, for me, one of the things that scares me is artistic activism. Making a short film to start off small, getting these films on different networks, but only so that I can reverse engineer what the influence comes from a network like Netflix. All right, I just put this on my magic board. What something like Netflix might bring as for recognition, so for me to create, at least, or even in the process, get the funds to have my own production company, to be able to create my own movies that are in the theaters on the calibers of Marvel and above and beyond. And this is a lot of the Leo Sun Aries energy. It's about, we now have harmony when it comes to taking these risks. You feel what I'm saying? This is the new level of abundance, and I'm gonna be honest, it does scare me. It does scare me. When I think about it, and it's like, part of what scares me is like, oh man, like, part of that mass that I've been holding on to is so many more people are going to cause, or at least indulge in, the dramatic conflict of switching sides, or being in a place where they supported me, but now I outgrew them and they're not going to support me in the next step, the next level, the next expression. And one of those next expressions that seem to always come up is like, again, supporting indigenous people, people of color, and helping them get out of these trenches, helping to reveal some of the dirt that happens, revealing what unconscious racism looks like. Today was one of the things I was rising and I was thinking, I had dreams even last night, which had something to do in that space of the whole unconscious racism, and like recognizing that, man, as I take this next step, I'm going to lose another batch of people. And with those fives, that destiny number, my birthday number, both being fives, these are big changes that I'm naturally involved with. I've always outran people, and I always held on in a fixed manner, because five is also fixed. It doesn't want to let go of those connections. It doesn't want to let go of the fun. It doesn't want to let go of the addiction. Okay, this is where the addiction comes, when we don't let go. It doesn't want to let go of these things. I'm still Scorpio rising. I want to let go of the intimacies that I've created and manifested around the world, and doing what I do and how I do it. But this is now being required from me, and like I said, this is the death card that's come back. Time is up. You see the time. The time is up. It's at the middle point right now. We're literally at the middle conjunction of being challenged to support humanity, feeling an obligation, a duty for humanity. This is Saturn in Aquarius. What's your obligation? And I'm starting to understand that part of my obligation is I have the ability to talk, to dream, to write. I have the network to help me with the scripts of the movies and the production. I have the connections that I've made around the world to do with the help with the filming and the directing experience. I have these communities and networks that I built. And it's now coming to that point where it's like, okay, I got a lot of 11th house energy. It's starting to pull them back in. But before I do, use this Mars and Taurus energy. This is Mars going 29 degrees, and recognize the intensity and the drama of the feminine energy that's coming in at a cosmic level, wiping everything the fuck out, wiping shit out clean, and saying this no longer belongs in the foundation. This part of your foundation is weak, Pernell. This part of your foundation is weak. You can't build on top of this, but you can build on top of this. And that's what's beginning to... This right here. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can build on this, but you can't build on this. The people that's involved with this part of the process, they must fall through. They must fall through. They do not belong in this next network. And I had to start addressing me as a life path 11, like what part of that 2 energy within me, because I do have some 2 energy in me. I think it's like my, I forget what number that is. One of my numbers is a 2, and it's like, it has that people-pleasing energy. And I had to really come up and let that shit rise. What is this people-pleasing energy that's within your blood, P? Is it really part of yours? Oh crap, no, it's your 12th house? Oh, it's here for you to surrender and let go of? Oh, okay, you already know how to make these social connections and be in these environments that's gonna really help and aid through this artistic expression, this artistic activism that you're looking to evolve yourself with these films. Okay, well, time to let them go. And you know, there's this the mask off. It's very easy for me to let go. If anything, it's too easy where I had to like reel back and start holding on longer, and then recognize of who did I let go too soon, who are actually good connections. Who did I let go too soon, who are actually loyal. Who did I let go soon, who are actually supporting. Because of the fear of now, damn, I found something stable. I found a connection I enjoy. I found a connection I want to be intimate with. I found a connection that's long term. But let me get rid of them before they get rid of me, because of these ugly, nasty patterns. And this is a lot of where my tears have been coming up and rising today. I'm telling you, I've been crying all day. I started drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning. Maybe like, I'm like moving the timeline up. More like 12. Okay, it was more like 12. I think I thought about it at 11:30, and then it started happening at like 12. But when it comes down to it, a lot of it is just me beginning to embrace me at a deeper level. It's like, look, I am what I am. One of my astrologers, who knows Maren Altman out there? Go ahead and knock her, just say it, just raise your hand, throw a black heart. You know, I've been checking in with Maren Altman more and more and more, and I'm like, man, you know, she's doing some of the stuff I was doing when I was in Asia. She's currently in Dubai, and I remember being in Asia. Hit the thumbs up for your boy, hit the thumbs up for your boy. Anybody that wants extra guidance on anything that I do say, drop a super chat, drop a donation, I'm gonna pull a specific card for you, okay? So I started thinking about, when was I in, it wasn't Phuket, what's the other side? The red light district. I was in the red light district, Pattaya. I was in Pattaya, Thailand, and I got hired for a job. So I took a trip down to Phuket, and then I took another flight over to Thailand. And these are the things that happen. These just don't make it online, okay? It's like, these are the things that make it online, but I'm having to understand, like, there's a certain inspiration that people receive, and I can't keep holding these stories back. Can't keep holding back the experience that I have, where these long story short, these millionaires, or God knows how much money they had, we were doing some filming. I was doing some filming. I had a camera in my hand. I was filming. And it was actually at a dog show at this particular time. Like, I didn't know people would take dog shows so seriously, but they do. And it's one of these things where Mars in Gemini is here to help us understand, as we're in a lot of retrograde energy. Uranus in retrograde, Pluto in retrograde, Mercury will soon be in retrograde when it hits Libra. Okay, of these connections, these intentional connections. All right. Jupiter is in retrograde. These planets in retrograde is helping us to go back and realize what parts of these selves that we've actually had. So for me at this time, it's like, wow, I remember when I think about Maren Altman before I was in astrology, looking at some of her videos now while I'm in astrology, and she's in Dubai, and she's talking about how she's in these nightclubs, she's in these places where these big investors are investing, okay, in her hopes and her dreams. This Taurus energy is asking us to get very grounded and stable and understand what is the hope and the dream? Who do people we want to manifest? So now it brings me back to, I remember being in a club, we're completely out of my natural state. Honestly, like I be going to sleep. I'm a sleep guy. I like to sleep at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, I had two of my boys that I was with, and it was like, yo, can you entertain our guest? Because I was connected to the people who asked me to entertain their guest. And at this time, I still knew a little bit of French. Not a lot, but just enough to be like, you know, like party social. Because my stepdad was African. I took French, and so I got to practice French for a little while, even while growing up. So there were some things I retained. I'm in the club, and they spoke English too, so most of it was English, but French came right near. It was like, oh crap, creating and building these connections. And it's the type of thing when you talk 11th house, you don't know who is going to be the connection. Yo, this mosquito's about to get his ass whooped. Yo, bite me one more time, bro. Bite me one more time, and we're gonna have a battle. All right? I'm getting sick of you. I left you alone. You're starting to annoy the hell out of me, homie. One more. One more. I hate when they go for the ankles, pissing me off. Don't touch my ankles, homie. Freaking annoying. All right. Long story short, all right, let me cut it close. Marin Altman has been reminding me through some of her travel vlogs and adventures how two things. One, a lot of investors don't like to be filmed. They don't like to be mentioned. They don't like their names to be used, right? A lot of that stuff, they don't enjoy it. But two, that this is a part of me when my mask is off. I do travel the world. I make big connections. I really don't use those connections very often, but it's like I've always had that chance. I've always had that opportunity, and I'm coming around the mask. It's like this is a part of my build. Mars in Gemini is allowing us to assert more unconscious and creative means for how we communicate more curiously with people and groups and environments. And as we more curiously start to communicate and act and create and start, like right before I got on this live, I was doing stuff on my magic board. I was drawing, I was creating new things. I drew a snake with an egg. I drew a balance beam of Libra. You know, I drew the Netflix sign in movies. A lot of stuff was happening. It's saying that by you taking action and drawing out these things, your thoughts and your ideas will become manifested into physical reality, because there'll be a grand trine energy coming up soon. Virgo season is here, all right? It's gonna be one of the biggest grand trines coming, where a lot of stuff is being destroyed. All earth energy is feminine, all water energy is feminine. So things are being destroyed, old patterns are being recognized, materials are being basically starting over from the bottom. That's where you got this Ace of Pentacles, all right? New pentacles are starting from the bottom. This is where you want to root. This is where you want to look at your foundation, look at the agriculture, the land that you have, and recognize that you have something solid to build on. So look at Taurus in your chart and understand, what do you have that's solid that you could build on top of? What do you have? How will you use it? And when you look at that, this is a marvelous energy to pair together with Mars and Gemini. The warnings would be to watch out for Neptune, because Neptune in Pisces is there, and it will create a T-square, all right, between Virgo, Pisces, and Gemini. So you're going to start looking at what parts of you in Mars and Gemini are curiously taking action, what parts of you need to start to organize, because Gemini does create chaos. What part do you need to organize? And as you look to organize those things, it's like, how does the organized get channeled the mutable energy of Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo? Because there's going to be a dream and some grand illusions about what it might actually cost you, especially for energy and for old routines to get transferred or shifted, because there's certain things you're doing on a day-to-day, no matter what that is, that's costing you something. You have to basically shit it out. You have to poop it out. You have to bring it through the small intestines. You got to bring it through the small intestines. You got to get rid of it. If it's no longer healthy for your systems and play, you got to get rid of it. You got to poop it out. I have succession. I'm freaking nut. Also have Sun, Saturn, Gemini. So I'm serious. Just realized you and my dad have the same birthday. April 14th. What's up, gang? Hello. That's not a coinky dink, Jazz. Pernell, the abundance I saw for you in the movie was the size of the check you held. That was a fat check. I remember that check in the movie. Shout out to y'all that saw the Five Bloods. I really appreciate it. Constant change, also adventure and freedom. Yeah, the 5. Yeah. Oh my God, my life changes all the time. It's great. And it's sad sometimes at the same time. Because I do a lot of connections that I like, and I have a lot of high hopes for people, and I see their potential, but they don't always make it, so it's sad. Sarah's dry spell about to move to the desert. You funny. All the intimacy, building relationships. Bang. So this is really what I got for the moment. Starseed Goddess, what's going on? They the 2 Virgos, and then sex was amazing. But that's all I saw. Okay, cool. I'm out of here, y'all. I really just feel like listening to music. I also had inspiration to put this message out, so I'm out. I want to say I love you. Thank y'all for voting. Thank y'all for hitting thumbs up. All right, check my email list for sure. I'm dropping it right here. Anybody that's still here, if you're not on it, I'm giving up more and more things. I'm getting more and more consistent on there. Virgo is requiring it. Emily Combs, I said that I was going to pull a card for anybody that donated, so let me keep my promise. Only thing is I don't have my cards with me, so you gotta have to come with for a walk. I do want to say thank you, Emily. Told him to stop playing. Caught him in my hand like I'm gonna give you some. Emily, I just saw your card. Apparently I do have a card. I saw your card right here. I looked back and I felt it, and this is your card, Emily, I don't know what your question is, but this is what's going on for you. You are expanding, you're going north. North in elemental magic, Brujeria, and basically through all of time, north is earth. And like I said earlier, for what I actually pulled, I only pulled 1 card for earth, and it was, right? Oh, come on, guys, stop playing. Why are you hiding? It was Cathiel, the angel. It was a seraphim. And Cathiel is the Ace of Pentacles. So again, this is a brand new beginnings, all right? New manifestations. Looking at your coin, you already understand what you have to let go from a physical level, from everything in a tangible world. You literally see it with that eye. This is seraphim energy. So this is, one of the angels of fire, if you will, the seraphims, and they're like the closest to God, best I understand, among other things. And this is just saying that you have a vision of the type of things, the type of physical resource that you want to have. And in order to enhancing that vision right now, Emily, it's asking you to sing out loud, shout, play a ensemble, something creative for sure, especially with this Mars and Gemini energy that's coming. You're gonna start looking at Gemini area of your chart, and it will help you a lot more, Emily. If you see the Gemini area of your chart, well, I got a lot of bees coming around me. Come on, homie. I'm trying, just leave me alone, baby. All right, Emily, you got some abundance that wants to be, if I say abundance, abundance, abundance. He was like coming back in. Okay, Emily, I said it, and then 2 more bugs came. So it's like, Emily, you might have to get busy when it comes to creating. Emily, you have to get busy, and you got to start creating something right now. But to be curious in the ways that you create. Don't get too attached to the result. Don't get too attached to the outcome. Don't get too attached to what you're going to do with what you create afterwards. Just go ahead and do it. Just put a piece of paper or start journaling. Put a pen to a paper and just write out your feelings, or at least write out your creative ideas. Write out what you're curious about and what you want to experience, but in a way that doesn't have an end goal. That's the key right now, Em. You're welcome, Em. Good to see it. All right, that's it. Like I said, I promise, my promise. Before anybody else donates, I'm gonna get the hell up out of here because I'm ready to listen to some music. All right, baby, I'll see y'all soon.